Welcome, bloody welcome. I'm Richard, and this is my partner, 28 years.
27 and a half.
Feels like 50.
It feels like 100.
Don't push it. Welcome, this is Paul.
Oh, thank you.
Paul's the one who goes to that place and does things with greenery. You might have seen his videos.
Yeah. My week at the plot videos.
That's
My
right.
tour videos.
But this video is called
Sunday Chat.
That's right. I also do a weekly vlog video as well, which I haven't done this week. No.
So it's not weekly.
No, I've taken a break. And I do have to let you know that it's to do with a syndrome that I have. Sadly, it's something that I have learned to live with.
I've learned to live with him.
Over many years. And it does have a name. It's important to give these things a name. And sometimes I don't know whether I can go on. It's called CBA syndrome. You might not have heard of it. Paul, it's not a laughing matter. God. It's called CBA. And I've lived with CBA for many, many years. And sometimes it rears its ugly head. And things just don't get done. No. It's called can't be asked syndrome. So let's get on with the show, shall we? Because I can be asked today. It can be CBA either way. Can be asked, can't be asked.
Can't be asked.
That's
Yes.
right.
It's a CBA day
It's
today.
it's a dual syndrome. It's very complex.
Is that sort of like, it's like this end and that end, isn't it? It can be and can't be. It's fantastic. That's a very, very bright shirt you've got on there.
It is. I'm wearing neon today because neon is the fashion of this summer. You see, we try as much as possible to bring some glamour to your lives because, frankly, most of the time you're all watching people digging in the dirt. And really, that's just not my style.
I'm wearing a shirt that I've had for about 10 years.
Yes, and it's looking better because it's next to me in glowing neon. It is.
It
no,
does.
is.
It makes
You're
me.
bouncing off me.
It makes me sort of booby and fatty, though.
Well, I didn't mean that kind of bouncing, Paul. But yes, you do bounce. Oh, sweet. I bounce.
Mum doesn't like this shirt at all.
Why? How could you not?
She says it makes me look fat.
Paul, believe you me, the thing that makes you look fat the most is when you've got no clothes on. Really? No, you look lovely in that shirt, Paul.
I think the thing that makes me look fat the most is the fact that I am. It's as simple as that.
But you're developing a few muscles in areas I've not detected before, Paul. Look,
I've noticed I've got, when I do that, I've got a sort of muscle there in my thigh. I think that's from sort of bending down and squatting at the allotment. Because my doctor says I mustn't bend over.
Forwards. Yeah, that's because of your acid.
My acid, yeah.
Well, it's not good because if you think about it, you've got this well of hydrochloric acid in your stomach and it should stay there.
Yeah.
It should stay there. I wonder how acrobats get on. Because you don't see them swinging and vomiting randomly, do you?
No, you don't. Maybe I'll...
Maybe it's because they're young.
Philip, he's who used to work... who was my assistant at, Bill Kenwright Limited all those years ago in Shaftesbury
He's an acrobat
Avenue.
now, is he?
He does all trapeze things. That's his hobby. He took up
novel.
flying and spinning and...
I think the thing to realise is that most things like that are done by young people in their 20s.
Well...
Isn't it?
Yeah, Philip's not in his 20s. He must be... His late 30s or early 40s.
Well, he'll be retiring soon, I would have thought.
It's
not an old man's game. It's
No,
not an old man's game.
But he's changed. He's a lovely guy. And
enough about people we don't know anything about.
You know Philip.
No idea.
Yes, you do.
I've got absolutely no idea who you're talking about. They can't have been that interesting. Sorry,
Oh no,
Philip,
that's
if you're
so
watching.
unfair.
Well, they can't. They haven't left a lasting impression.
I think you only met him once.
Well, exactly.
I think it was the...
And he certainly wasn't on a trapeze at that moment.
No, he wasn't. He didn't learn trapeze and acrobatics till much later.
So
I think
anyway,
about 6
we're
years
moving
ago
on
he
from
started
people we don't
learning
really care
acrobatics.
about. Really. I don't want to waste time on things that don't mean anything.
Rope work, I think they call it.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
Stepping Out the musical. That was it. Stepping Out. You met him at Stepping Out the musical.
I don't even remember watching that musical, Paul. God. Those were in my stoner days, Paul. There's approximately 15 years that are a complete and utter blur, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Are there any photos?
No, it was before the digital age.
How fortunate.
Yes. God, yes.
Dear. Do you remember Patsy Cline the musical?
No.
I do, yeah. Anyway, other time.
Must have been pretty awful.
The producers were, their surnames were, what were they?
I don't know, Tit and Tit. I don't know.
They were Crook and Con.
Well, nearly.
Those were their surnames.
Anyway,
Crook
let's
and
move
Con.
on. Oh, Paul, what is Alexa doing now?
That's my loaf, which is ready to come out of the oven.
Alexa, take the loaf out of the oven.
I think I might have to do it.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, would you take the loaf out of the oven for Paul?
Here's something I found on the web. According to hubpages.com, take loaf from oven and leave in pan.
Take loaf from oven and leave in pan.
She tried.
Yeah.
We just need a little Alexa robot now around the house.
I'm sure
to
they
do
must
things
have that going.
for us like that.
An Alexa Roomba. Isn't it?
I don't think they've got an Alexa controlled one now, have they?
Oh, I don't know. They must have. They have Alexa controlled everything.
If we didn't have Persian rugs with tassels, I would buy one of those, because you can get little cheap ones now that just do a little whiz round a couple of times a week.
But you do that anyway.
I know, but I wouldn't have... Mind you, it's the only exercise I get these days.
I'm going to go and take the loaf out of the oven.
Shall I just continue to talk on my own?
Yeah, you do that. Yeah.
No, we'll pause it and continue when you come back. Well, that wasn't too long, Paul. Oh, well done. So, we've got a confession to make. Today is Saturday.
Yeah.
It's Saturday.
And Sunday chat.
It's on a Saturday this week.
Saturday, Sunday chat.
And the reason we're doing it that way is simply because at the moment uploading on a Sunday seems to take forever. Because the whole world is using the internet at the same time, it seems. So poor little us trying to upload videos, we don't get a chance to shoehorn our way in.
That's a shoehorn, not that.
Well, actually, it's not. A shoehorn is down, and then you lift the foot.
Down and then...
No, you just lift the foot.
Actually, a shoehorn is getting your foot in. It's not getting it out.
Oh, of course. How silly of me. Well, the purple and the yellow go well together. You see, we're just trying to bring a bit of style and glamour to your dull lives. So, what's happened this week? The weather has been very, very hot. Today it's lovely and cool.
Mm.
Cool, fresh, we've got all the windows open, running the hot air out of the window, which is generated by Paul's body alone.
Oh yeah, it's been so hot this week. It really has. We've slept okay though, really.
We
haven't
always sleep okay.
Yeah, we slept okay. And this morning I had that sort of glorious thing of waking up to the sound of rain.
Yes.
And it was really heavy rain. I thought, oh, that's absolutely fantastic. Oh, that's
lovely.
glorious. I can hear the rain. It's cooler air. It's bloody lovely. And then, of course, I thought about slugs and snails. So, yeah, there's the gardening bit. We love the rain, but then those little slugs and little snails come out and chew on our things. So we'll see what damage there is later on down at the plot.
Lovely.
Hopefully not too much.
No.
But it is lovely now. It's lovely. It's cool,
Grey.
grey, but I think it's going to warm up again. But are we going to have more rain?
I don't know. I've not looked at the forecast.
No, I haven't looked at the
No.
forecast.
I was looking at the forecast yesterday, intently, waiting for the massive wild thunderstorms that are going to sweep the nation and cause massive destruction. It didn't happen. Because if it had, you'd have seen the video by now.
It didn't at all.
Nothing. Not a murmur. Everywhere else seemed to get it apart from London.
From about 6 in the morning, he was going, oh, there's a lightning strike in, where was it, Brighton. Well, oh, it's now moved along the coast. Oh, it's not coming north. Oh,
Monitoring the storm.
Yeah.
For your pleasure.
Do you know how I find out whether there's a thunderstorm and lightning?
You look out of the window.
I look out of the window and I listen.
Well, Paul, you wouldn't make a very good storm chaser then, would you?
No.
You have to monitor these things.
I could work as ballast in the car, though.
It requires careful monitoring of the progress of the storm. You've got to track it. You've got to use all the available resources that we have. And nowadays, in the modern world, we can look online and follow on special lightning tracker websites called Lightning Map.
Oh, is that what it's called?
lightningmap.org. It's fantastic. I love it.
Not
And-
to be confused with Lightning Map.
Oh, gosh. Don't get me started. Lightning, as in a bolt from the heavens. It's a noun. It's a noun, a specific word. Lightning. Lightning. Lightening. Lightening is a verb. To lighten, meaning to make something lighter. Like hair, for example. Paul's hair has been lightened by the sun.
And if I go out in the sun, it'll carry on lightening.
Yes, lightening. It's a verb.
If I get hit by lightning,
That's a noun.
You don't want to go there.
That's a noun. Lightning. It's a specific word. Get it right. Odd.
What does Google do?
What do you
Google,
mean?
you know, when you type it in, if you type in lightning, does it change it to lightening?
Well, it will say, did you mean lightning?
Did you read lightning?
Really? Honestly, get it right, people. Just drives me insane.
It literally does drive him insane.
I'm a pedant, okay? I get things wrong too.
A pedant peasant. Do you get things wrong?
I do get things wrong.
When do you
of
get things
course.
wrong?
Well, if I'm slightly drunk, I do get words mixed up.
Or completely sober, in fact.
No, so I'm usually drunk. No, I'm not drunk. I mean, when am I drunk? Once a year?
I remember a time that you would. I remember 2 times.
Yeah, well,
I remember 3 times.
that's in 28 years.
I remember 10. Not often. Not now.
No.
Not now.
Never.
No.
But if I do
Well,
have a
not
tipple,
never.
ones,
Our
I'm
subscribers know not never.
beaches. Not a place to go when there's a lightning storm. No, golf courses, beaches,
Under trees.
under trees.
Don't go under a tree.
Exposed areas that really don't go out. Don't go out if there's a lightning storm.
Yeah.
Watch it from the comfort of your own home, but turn everything off. That's what they do recommend.
Really?
Yes, they do.
Why?
Because if lightning strikes a house, it is going to go through the plumbing, through the wire system to find its way down.
Even if the house is earthed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I
If
do
your
look-
house is struck, they say it may not result in a fire, but it will travel through the plumbing and the electrical system. So don't be going having a shower or use your mobile phone whilst it's plugged in and charging. You
Or
see,
be
we're full-
seated
we're
on a metal toilet.
A metal toilet?
Yeah.
Who has a metal toilet?
I've seen metal toilets in America.
Well, don't sit on a metal toilet.
No.
Stand up, crouch
Mm.
to do the pee. Ooh, but water is a good conductor of electricity.
Water is, don't do a pee.
Don't do a pee because it might
No,
go up.
It might go up.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
boil you from inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's that close, you're going to die anyway.
There's a cheery thought.
But I mean, people have been struck by lightning and survived.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, but it's very rare. It's very rare getting struck anyway.
That's what I was
So
going to say.
don't go to bed and have nightmares.
No, and don't have nightmares during the day either.
No, if you have an afternoon nap.
Yeah. What you daydream?
Daydream.
Do you day nightmare as well?
A daymare.
A daymare.
Well, nightmare comes from the...
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Shut up, Paul. No, it doesn't. It comes from this... what is it? Some kind of legend of this horse that carried bad dreams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's where it comes from. I'm not exactly sure of the story. I have researched it.
I think you need to do some more.
Where would mare come from? It's a horse.
Well, yes, but it could be derived from the sea.
I promise you, it's to do with a horse.
I think it mostly is to do with the horse. Yeah.
Sea, mare in the sea.
Well, yes, because so many
Oh,
times
mare,
things change,
as in the word
don't
for
they?
sea, the Latin word
Yeah.
for sea.
Yeah,
No, I don't think it
Oh,
does.
French.
Paul.
Yeah. different.
No.
Different vowels, but things change through time. Vowels change.
Sea
things
is
like that.
marin.
No, mare as well. Delamere of the sea. My uncle and aunt were Delamares.
How lovely.
And
How interesting.
the Mod Carteret in
You
Guernsey
see, yes,
as well.
that's true.
Yeah, and what's it? Where my brother is at the golf course, La Grande-Mare. Yeah, that golf course was sort of completely underwater.
Under the sea.
And it was very salty water because it was lower, very much lower level than
So
the actual,
marine is marin.
Yeah, yeah. And then that comes back to the marinara sauce that we were talking about
Does it?
ages ago.
Lovely.
Well, a
How
couple of months
nice.
ago.
So anyway, back to beaches. Beaches, beaches, beaches. Weren't we all absolutely horrified at the fact that we all live side by side with complete and utter morons? We do. And it's really hit home during the virus that there are a lot of morons. A lot of very stupid, moronic people who think they know best, who think they won't get the virus, who think they're immune.
500,000 people
500,000
went down
people.
to Dorset beaches.
And abused officials trying to control the traffic. And this not only caused gridlock, but it actually caused the emergency services to not be able to get to local places around that area to help
Anyone.
people struggling
So
with
someone
emergencies.
Someone who may have had a heart attack in a village, they couldn't actually take that
No.
person to hospital Because the roads were gridlocked.
Because the roads were
Ridiculous.
filled with morons. I can't believe these people actually know how to drive
But
and actually passed a driving test.
I also think that our government, in announcing
Yes.
things so far in advance,
Yes.
it's sort of like carte blanche that people are going to go, oh, well, actually, a week's not going to make that much difference, so I'll go now because the weather's nice. And, you know, it really doesn't work. And all these things about our government, when they come out and say, you know, the public has worked so hard and it's done this and we know we can rely on them and blah, blah, blah. That's rubbish.
Morons.
It's rubbish. You know that. Over years, you've built a sort of, what's it, a granny society where we're told what we have to do.
Granny society.
What's it called?
A nanny state.
A nanny state. A nanny state.
Granny society.
Yeah, I quite like a granny society.
That sounds like a lovely nightclub for older people. Granny society.
A nanny state where we're told what we have to do, what we don't have to do, all of that.
Paul.
I like it.
Granny
So
society.
you can't.
And also, Paul, can I just say, because a couple of morons have just driven down the road
At speed.
This is a small street, very narrow, 20 miles an hour limit.
We have
And it's
parking
a
on
limit.
both sides of the road, bumped up parking on both sides of
And
the
it's
road.
an enforced limit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is a speed limit. It's not
It's not an advisory.
advisory. It is a speed limit. It's got that red
round sign, which
Yeah.
means it is compulsory. And people have been speeding down this road.
Mm.
I mean, they must be going 50, 60 miles an hour.
I reckon they're going 40 miles an hour.
There was one quicker than that the other day.
An Ocado van yesterday went up the road.
Did you report that?
I did report it.
Did you tweet it?
No, I emailed Ocado about it.
It's
But
disgusting.
it went up the road at 4 minutes past 8 at such speed.
You should have
I could
tweeted it.
hardly make out it was an Ocado van.
And hashtag them. Named and shamed.
Mm.
So, yes, disappointing that we live with so many morons in the world
Hey
in
ho.
general. But it is. I can't. I'm. Yeah.
And the thing
I'm
is,
astounded sometimes.
the thing is, it's throughout society. I
I know.
mean, it's not particularly one section of society. It's
I think there must
through
be
the
a
whole of
gene
society.
for common sense. I think there must be. There must be. It must be genetic. Everything we do is in our brains.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So it
but
must.
there's socialisation as well, isn't there?
But-
Like granny society socialisation. Yeah. Next.
Anyway.
What's next?
Oh, Paul, where is the gift?
Yes.
We've had a gift, and it's absolutely lovely. Look,
No, don't.
look, it's lovely.
Sheep.
But the person that made this, because I think it's handmade, isn't it?
It is handmade.
It's completely handmade. It's lovely. I think the person that made it was extremely clever. Extremely clever, because it's reversible.
It is.
It's reversible, because if you turn it upside down, it's a portrait of me giving Paul side-eye.
You gotta hold it up.
It's a portrait of me giving Paul side-eye. Look.
But there we are. That's
love
what
it.
it is. It's sheep
You know what it reminds me
pillow.
of?
No, cushion, isn't it? Sheep cushion for the shed.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Fuzzy felt.
It is like fuzzy felt.
Do you remember Fuzzy
It
Felt?
is like fuzzy felt.
I loved
used to
Fuzzy
love. I
Felt.
used to love Fuzzy Felt Farm.
Fuzzy Felt Farm.
I have Fuzzy Felt Farm.
Did you?
I love Fuzzy Felt Farm, and there was Fuzzy Felt Carousel as well.
I think they should bring back Fuzzy Felt and do a drag queen version.
What, with big cutout pieces that you
Ooh,
can put on.
You can make a drag queen.
So thank you for whoever sent this to us, and let us know, because there wasn't a note.
No, there was no note.
A little floppy ear.
They've got floppy
there.
ears, I
Got
know.
floppy ears.
They're lovely.
So that is for the shed. That is going in the shed. So that's a little enticement to get the interior of the shed sorted, really.
Yes, anyway, that's another story, isn't it? A completely another video.
We need to go under the stairs to find paint.
And that in itself is like an expedition.
Well, it is now. You've got all that paint and stuff in there, yeah.
I don't think there's much. I don't think there is.
I'll have to ask around then, see if people have got paint. I don't want gloss paint, do I?
No, you just want some lovely matte, really, for the interior.
What's matte?
Well,
Isn't that emulsion?
Matte emulsion, Paul.
Emulsion.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not sure. I think a lovely sort of pale blue would be nice, don't you?
Do you? Where are you going to get that from?
I'm going to magic it in a skip.
If we had some white, we could get some stain and we could make our own. You can buy paint stain.
Oh, right. Oh.
Yeah, that you drop a few drops in.
Have we got white?
I don't know. I'm saying if we've
know.
got white, we could.
Have we got any of that?
Any of what?
Any of the taupe, mushroom,
Ziggy.
Billingsgate Market?
Ziggy, it's called.
Yeah. I don't know where all these names come
It's
from.
called Ziggy.
You understand mushroom, don't you? Yeah.
Well, it was called Ziggy.
Well, why is it called Ziggy?
I don't know, because why is the green called Hobgoblin?
Well, because goblins there's a sort of Irish theme to that, and they're greeny with their hats.
I'm here
and
to
things.
tell you, Paul, and any viewers watching, that there is no such thing as goblins.
There is, of course there is. They were manning a lot of the stands at Vivi's Flower Festival this year.
They were elves.
No, the elves and the goblins were having a bit of a doodah on a daily basis about things, but it was the goblins that were going around and doing the maypole dancing, and it was the elves that had the sort of kick-off about it being in June, so should they be doing maypole dancing in June? It was a bit late. But, yeah. But I did like what the goblins said, you know, it's all a bit elfin safety, because they were elves. That was great. So goblins, we saw them.
Clap, children, if you believe in fairies. You clapped across me. I was talking. So, Paul.
You see, your sigh was a sigh of,
It was resignation.
My sigh was a sigh of, ah. Next.
I never feel like that. So, Paul, you wanted to talk about, and hopefully not at length, about planning a Mediterranean herb garden.
Oh, yes, that's right. We use a lot of Mediterranean herbs. And if you're on Planet Vegetaria or you watch our week at the plot, this week I've dried oregano. And I thought, why not actually make our own Mediterranean herb mix? It will take a while to do because I'm going to take a cutting from some sage, I'm going to take a cutting from some rosemary, and I'm going to sow some seeds as well, maybe some oregano seeds that I have. So this is going to be for next year. But yeah, I'm going to put that together. So there may be a bit of lavender, well, there will maybe a bit of lavender in there as well. And yeah, I'm going to do a little Mediterranean herb garden for a Mediterranean herb mix. Yeah, is that brief enough? Oregano,
Sage,
marjoram, sage, thyme, which we already have, thyme, little bit of lavender.
What else? There's more than that.
No.
Rosemary.
That's it, rosemary. That's the final one that I'm going to do.
But surely there are other herbs.
Well, there are other herbs. You could have tarragon.
I love tarragon.
You can have... Well, I haven't got any tarragon. I've got tarragon seeds.
I love tarragon.
He loves tarragon. Loves tarragon. Loves tarragon. So, yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. Because the sage and the rosemary will sort of grow quite big, I'm not sure it'll be all in one single bed. But yeah, I'm going to do that. My Mediterranean herb mix.
Good.
It's dried, obviously.
Eventually.
Dry it eventually. Yeah.
Lovely. So, Mum, update on Mum.
Yeah, she went to a party, a tea party yesterday.
What was the tea party for?
It was just, they used to have relatively regular tea parties in the communal room where Mum lives.
So it's like a post-COVID tea party.
Yeah. And they had stopped, or it hadn't happened for quite a long time.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
just mean, I don't mean just mean COVID, I mean before that. So, Mum
she
really
hadn't
enjoyed
been
it.
for quite a long time.
No, they hadn't had one for quite a long time.
I thought they had a knitting group tea party.
There is a knitting group. That's separate.
Huh?
That's separate. There's I think it's a knitting and patois. So they talk Guernsey patois while people are knitting. And I said to Mum, you should go along. You'd like to talk in patois with other people. And the fact that you're not a knitter doesn't, you can make teas and coffees for people or just sit there and chat.
And chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mum
yeah,
loves
she can
to
do
chat.
that. She can do
loves
that.
to chat. You should, if you haven't watched our videos of the interview with Mum about her evacuation during the Second World War, which actually leads us on to something else that we're going to talk about later, you've got, that's a playlist, isn't it? So yeah, look at that playlist. It's lovely.
Lovely. Super. Thank you, Paul. Which neatly leads us into what we watched on TV this week.
Yeah.
So we watched, am I looking in the right place?
There.
Oh, yeah. We watched the Guernsey Literary, what is it called? Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society film.
We watched the film.
We watched the film. And actually, we really enjoyed it, didn't we? It took us a little while to get over the fact that it's not filmed in Guernsey, and a lot of the scenes of Guernsey look absolutely nothing like Guernsey.
Yeah. Much too expansive.
They're too big. Guernsey's very small. And whilst there are some very tall cliffs...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of those cliffs are not actually accessible by beaches.
No, not easily accessible.
A lot of those views that they showed on the film were kind of too tall. The cliffs were too tall behind the people. There are cliffs that you can view from the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's very few beaches that are viewable up like that.
No, there's not that many,
No.
and they're not sort of cliffs that you view. There are ways you can get down to certain bays, and I almost drowned with my brother once when we did do this, so don't do it. But we went down some cliffs and we had a fantastic swim, but yeah. Then the tide turned and that was challenging. But on that one, when you looked up, you do see cliffs. But most of the bays that are easily accessible in Guernsey
don't have big cliffs like that.
There
was one scene where they were at the top of a cliff on a very grassy area.
Yeah.
That looked very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar to Guernsey. But it wasn't filmed in Guernsey.
But also there was an island off the shore which wasn't any of the islands of Guernsey. Oh, and
I think that was CGI. I think it was meant to look...
Why would you put that in?
Well, there aren't any islands like that off Cornwall, are there?
Yeah, there's a few islands off
immediately.
Cornwall.
Really?
Burwell. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. They're quite close in.
Yeah, I think it
maybe.
looked like CGI of Sark and Herm.
But there was also a fox call. We heard a fox bark.
Yeah.
In the soundtrack, in
one of the night scenes.
Yeah.
Well,
there aren't any foxes in Guernsey. So
a bit of a detail there.
And also the other thing that really got me, I mean, it's beautifully filmed.
Yeah.
And
lovely story, great acting.
The space that the town that they use for Guernsey Harbour, St Peterport Harbour, where Mum was evacuated from, is just so tiny. And one of the reasons that when the German occupation came
about,
one of the reasons was Guernsey's harbour is so big, you could get deep. You could get so many boats in there and also submarines, which allowed them to quickly get into the English Channel. So this sort of little harbour that they used for me, it didn't have the.
It was too cutesy.
It was a bit too
cutesy
cutesy
and small. Yeah, I mean, it had the same characteristics.
Yeah.
As in the rise up the cliff with the buildings. That if you follow us on Facebook, you will have seen the photographs that I take of Guernsey. So, you know, but it was a charming film and well worth a watch.
Really?
Highly recommended for a great story. But, you know, the other detail, I didn't once hear a Guernsey person on there say A.
No, it didn't.
Guernsey people always say A.
It
after
didn't
a
feel.
sentence,
It
don't
didn't
they?
feel like for me. It didn't feel like a film set in Guernsey.
And there were a couple of strange accents.
There were some very odd accents.
Sort of Cornish. I don't know any Guernsey people that sound Cornish.
Oh, I don't know any who sound
No,
Cornish.
I don't know any.
No.
They don't sound like that. If anything, it's more.
It's more sort of South African. There's a sort
it's
of,
not South African.
I don't know. There's that
It's more-
Australian sort of swang. to
No,
it.
there isn't, Paul. You've
I
got
think there
absolutely
is.
no idea at all.
I'm terrible at accents.
It's more. It sounds like more like people from Bristol.
Does it?
Yes, it's got more of a Bristol twang to it than Cornish.
What's Bristol?
But there isn't a strong Guernsey accent as such, is there? Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
It's really watered down now from the people that we know, certainly.
Uncle Len.
But Guernsey people always say A.
Yeah. A.
So they'll say, well, we were going to do some shopping in town, eh?
Yeah.
They always say that.
And there was none of that.
There was none of that. So that's another detail that they missed. And I can't kind of quite believe that they missed those sort of details. They weren't important to them, were
No, I think they actually it's a very anglicised version of the book, in my opinion. But well worth a watch.
Oh, it is.
Definitely
It's lovely.
Worth a watch.
So it's very romantic. It's a love story. But it also hits home the occupation.
Yeah.
Not that there's any sort of shocking scenes as such, but there's that scene where the troops are parading through the streets, which they did do. You know, playing a brass band and all of that, and that to me was squirrel. That to me was quite poignant, and it sort of hit home. You know, this invading force occupying this territory which is not theirs, which is awful.
Yeah, but then you go back in time, of course, Guernsey, Jersey and the Channel Islands used to be part of France. So, you know, it only came under English, because it was English governance, with the treaty in 1204, that it fell under the Crown of England, and the title of the Duke of Normandy fell under the Crown of England.
You know, most territories, islands, small nations have been invaded and taken over by other nations, you know, forever.
Well, and then not just islands. I mean, obviously, there's in America, you had Native American Indians who were living in America, and of course, you know, we all know what happened there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's a complete disaster, but this is to do with human greed, isn't it? That's it, plain and simple. Let's take over that because we want some more land.
Oh, there's a hive hand there.
Oh, anyway, lovely. So what else? We watched a movie last night called Curvature.
Yes.
Curvature. It's a sort of time travel movie.
It's a lower budget movie.
Well, actually, but shot really beautifely.
I
Very
thought-
modern
yeah.
looking.
I thought it was really, really good. I mean,
Modern with a retro feel.
It's a time travel movie.
Yeah, we're not going to say anything about it because those kind of movies you've got to go and watch, but it was really watchable and a good story.
But get into it, because I did think in the first 10 or 15 minutes, are we going to carry on watching this?
No, it was watchable.
And it's definitely watchable.
Yeah.
It's
So,
enjoyable.
recommended.
So do watch it.
And what platform did we watch that on, Paul? Was that on Amazon or Netflix?
I think that was Amazon.
Was it?
I think it was
Oh,
Amazon.
it was either.
Yeah.
Either or. So that was lovely. And also we've been watching the BBC series The Planets, which is the updated version, because there was a version years ago, but it's kind of been brought up to date. Brian Cox presenting. Professor Brian Cox. So sorry, Brian, if you're watching. Who is obviously excellent at what he does.
Well, it could have been Brian Cox, the actor, Brian Cox. But it was Professor Brian Cox.
So that was good. Very, very enjoyable. Very interesting. Absorbing. Great visuals.
I learnt a lot. I mean, I know quite a bit about the planets anyway, but I learnt quite a lot that I didn't know, especially about how when a moon or a planet goes around another planet, how it can be affected by tidal
forces.
What's it? Was it the gravity, where it can make it shrink the size of a planet or expand the size of a planet. And cause volcanism
yeah.
and heating up of that planet.
Yeah,
I knew that happened, though I didn't know why it happened. And after watching the series, I do.
So that was good. So those are our recommendations for television viewing this week. We know that's so important to you. So the other thing we wanted to talk...
Oh!
I wonder who that is.
Hello, Owen. Thank you. Have a good day.
Paul, come on.
Excuse me. That's not us. It's the wrong road. This is W3. We're W7. Bye.
Oh, he's going to wash his hands because he's been touching dirty parcels. So, the delivery driver came to the wrong postcode. How interesting. Lovely.
That hasn't happened for a while.
No. Anyway, so interesting. Doesn't mean anything at this point in the video because these people will have done this already.
Yeah.
But thumbs down. Now you had Paul, because we're connected. We've said this before. Paul had a conversation with somebody from YouTube who phoned him to discuss what you had raised with YouTube a while ago.
Yeah.
And that is the fact that people should not be allowed to give a thumbs down to a video if they haven't watched a certain amount of it.
Yeah. So I suggested something some months ago and had a call back just to discuss it a little bit. And it was about the fact that I don't think people should be able to thumbs down a video
I just said that.
unless they've watched at least 25% of the video. So a quarter of the video. Because actually, by giving a thumbs down when you haven't watched a video, I consider that, negative, but it could
rude.
Also be classed as harassment.
Yes.
So, that has been taken on board, and I will be hearing back from them in due course. So maybe something will change, maybe it won't. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't matter to us because thumbs down to us are just another interaction with somebody, which actually
Is there a
YouTube.
beeping noise?
No. I heard an interrupting noise.
I heard a beeping noise.
No. Or maybe that van was reversing a little bit and then decided not to. So yeah, we will come back to you on that if there's any news. Or obviously if there's a change in things, then yeah, there we are. Quite interesting though to get a call about that.
Yeah, there you go, you see. Action. Take action. Do something. So that's it, I think, Paul, for this week.
Is that it?
That is it. We've gone through the list of things.
There's been quite a lot of interruptions today, hasn't there?
Oh, that's lovely.
I was doing my seed sowing video down at the plot the other day. I thought I'd do it down there. But there was about 2 or 3 interruptions during that from people who wanted to ask me a question. I love it. I mean, I love the fact that there's so much interaction goes on at our allotment. But it does amuse me when I'm talking to the camera and somebody might say, "Are you filming?" It's sort of like I'm just talking to the camera for fun.
Paul, it's so good that you're so popular.
Well, it's not necessarily
And
popularity.
people like you.
It's
They
the
do.
fact that I'm chair, so they come and they ask me things.
Oh, your chair as well, Paul. For those of you who didn't know, Paul's a big shot on the allotment.
Big in size.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going now.
Is that it?
That's it. We're saying goodbye.
Shall I waffle on about something?
No, I think you're too famous as it is, Paul, because we have heard this week that our subscribers in one area of America have gone from 490,000 subscribers down to only 319.
Oh,
I know.
That's a drop of a third.
319,000, that is.
Dearie me.
I know.
Honestly.
Amazing. And of course, let's not forget that we've still got 7.9 million subscribers in New Zealand alone. Yeah. So,
dear.
Anyway, let's say goodbye. It's getting grey, windy grey. Lovely. Let's hope it stays that way all day.
I think it's going to be a bit of a mixed weekend,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think so. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever you're doing. And thank you, bloody thank you, for subscribing to our channel. Yeah. And remember, we're on other platforms as well, like Twitter, Instagram, Signed Clyde.
Oh, we need to do a
And
podcast.
we will be doing a podcast soon. And what was the other one?
Planet Vegetaria.
Facebook. And Planet Vegetaria. That's a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. Richard and Paul since 2017. That's contractual.
Is that still in the bottom corner down there?
Yeah. So bye for now. Take care. Au revoir. Bienvenue. Adieu. All of the other words in different languages.
We should learn some other languages of goodbye.
There's probably a lovely African one in one of those languages where they just do clicks and things.
What Angelique Kidjo would know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
And Vesni, what's goodbye in your language as well? So what is goodbye in different people's languages? Or in fact, how do you say goodbye? Because, there's people who go ta-ra, people who go bye, see you later. So many different ways of saying goodbye.
Whatever.
I could go on for hours about it.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Bye. Oh, that's really odd. Bye.